What's up, guys? I know it's been a little while, but we are back with another Street Fighter V tutorial. Today we are going to be covering the newest character added to Street Fighter V, Akuma. So I know Akuma is a little weird looking in this game. He looks kind of like a cowardly lion or something, but I think that he is a pretty cool character. And to explain a little bit, I feel in previous games, their balancing kind of philosophy for Akuma was they're just going to kind of give him everything, right? He had like a good fireball, he had an air fireball, which no other character had. He had some of the better combos in the old games, good damage and mix-ups. And then the big downside was that he had the lowest health in the game and he would die really fast. And I think what ended up happening is usually characters like that, and Seth was another example of a character who just kind of has everything except he has low health. They tend to be pretty good, or at least they tend to be really hard to balance. So what they did in this game, they changed Akuma a lot, and I think it gives him kind of more of an identity and makes him not just, you know, kind of the best of everything from all the other Shotos with that one big downside of having low health. So in this game, you know, he's definitely a rushdown monster. You're not going to be keeping away with him like you could in Street Fighter 4. You know, for example, his fireball doesn't even go full screen. He still has the red fireball, which does go full screen, but obviously it's got pretty long startup. He can't jump back and do air fireballs anymore. It just doesn't work. He can only do air fireballs if he's jumping forward. And he doesn't have a lot of the kind of crazy vortex stuff that he had in Street Fighter 4. And that's partially also negated by the different get-up mechanics in this game, the different ground techs off knockdowns. So let's cover some of his more important normal moves first. He doesn't have great reach. He's definitely going to want to be up close in the opponent's face. Crouching medium punch is one of your kind of go-to attacks. It's fast and pretty decent range, and you can tick into a fireball off it. And one nice thing is that from close range like this, the fireball actually knocks down, which means, unlike Ken and Ryu, you're never going to be unsafe on hit with a fireball. And it is technically unsafe on guard. So you can see if I'm really close, she can punish me, but if you space it out like this, they're not really going to be able to punish you, so that's handy too. Poking with crouching medium punch fireball is generally a pretty good strategy with Akuma. He's got his forward medium punch overhead, as always, good for kind of closing out the round. He's got an interesting new move, which is his forward hard punch is this little hop move, and the reason that this is useful is it actually dodges throws because you're airborne, and you can combo off it. I think if you don't get a counter hit, you can only get jabs, but if you get a counter hit, you can get like really big damage. And counter hitting with forward hard punch happens fairly often because, you know, you can do stuff like this, and if they stick out a slower move, they'll get counter hit. So you can get like really big damage off of landing this as a counter hit. You know, stuff like that will work. You can link. Other moves, he's got his standing hard kick from before, but it's changed it a little bit. It's actually a two-hit target combo now. You don't just automatically do both hits when you press it. And this is kind of important because, you know, it means you can just do one or you can do both. But if they're crouching, the second one will pretty much never come out because it's just going to whiff over their head, right? And you can't get the second one. So I would say this move is not something you're going to be wanting to throw out a lot because you can be left unsafe if it whiffs over their head. But in sort of combo situations, it can set you up for a lot of damage. You know, you can link off it like you could in previous games and stuff like that. And it does crush counter. His jumping medium kick is his cross-up. It's very solid, as always, and you can cross-up with jumping Tatsu as well, but it's not quite as reliable as it was in the previous games, but it does still work. So with that... Oh, and one more target combo, he has his hard punch, hard punch. You can do crouching hard punch into hard punch, hard punch. Clearly, I suck at links, but I promise it does work. Let's try one more time. There we go. So that links. And another thing to note is that he has a couple moves that force stand, which is really important. So if you don't know what that means, as you can see, his hurricane kick will just whiff on crouching people, right? Which is kind of bad. It means a lot of your combos don't work if they're crouching. But his standing medium kick and his crouching hard punch both force standing. So it means that if you do a combo with one of these in it, you will be able to hit them with moves that only hit standing people. So he has stuff like crouching hard punch, standing medium kick, Tatsu, standing medium kick, crouching hard punch, or the other way around, crouching hard punch, standing medium kick, Tatsu. That works. So for moves where you need to land that Tatsu to get that extra damage, that's pretty useful. I think that's about it for his normals. Let's jump into his specials real quick. As I said, he's got the Fireball. Different ranges do different damage, but also have longer and shorter range. He's got the red Fireball with half circle back. The light punch does 1 hit, hard punch does 3 hits, medium punch does 2 hits. This move is just good for trading with other Fireballs because it'll eat them and keep going. Or, you know, if you want to kind of keep the opponent away from full screen, it's pretty useful for that. His air Fireball is not as good in this game because, as I said, you can't do it while running away. But jumping in with it is pretty decent. You know, you can use it to kind of set up combos and pressure. And if you're jumping in with it and they try to do like a normal anti-air, a lot of times they'll get hit by the Fireball. It'll kind of hit them out of their anti-air. So it's pretty useful for that. And the same applies to his dive kick, which is down medium kick in the air. You know, if they're trying to anti-air with jab or with crouching hard punch or something and you do the dive kick, a lot of times you'll beat their anti-air because the timing is different. What else? He's got the Tatsu, as always. It's pretty much just a combo move. The heavy Tatsu is pretty interesting in this game. It does this little knockdown. So you can do some cool combos, you know, with like, let me see if I can do it. And then you can follow that up with heavy Tatsu, if you time it correctly. Yeah, so stuff like that works, and Akuma can do a lot of damage in general. You know, he's one of the more damaging characters, so it's generally, you're going to be the one rushing down. You're not going to be running away, as I mentioned. And he's got the Demon Dive Flip, which is half circle forward kick. So if you don't press anything, he'll do this little low kick, which hits low. If you press kick, he'll do this, you know, this dive kick that you can then combo off of. If you press punch, he'll do this punch, which comes out faster than the dive kick, which is kind of important. But it knocks down, so you can't combo off it like you can the kick. And then if you press throw, he does the throw. And it's important to note that the throw only hits standing people. You can't hit crouchers with it. But so, you know, as usual with Akuma, you can do kind of tricky setups like this where you're mixing up, they don't know if you're going to go high or low, stuff like that. But do note that since there's a decent amount of startup and you're kind of stuck in the air, if they react really well to the Demon Dive Flip, they can anti-air you out of it pretty easily. So don't abuse it too much. It's kind of good for, you know, the occasional mix-up every so often. And he can do the EX Demon Dive Flip, which is very fast, and it actually hits them on the way up in this game, which is pretty cool. Finally, we'll talk about his super. He's got this super that he had in Third Strike where he pounds the ground and a big explosion happens. As far as I know, this is only for combos, so, you know, you can do stuff like this, which is good damage. I know there's, like, more optimal stuff that I don't have the combos down that you can do a lot of damage, like 50% plus with his super. So it's pretty good for that. And he has a second super that can only be done in V-Trigger, which is his Raging Demon, which he's had in pretty much every game, I think. It does a lot of damage, and it is a grab. And if you're point blank, oh yeah, I have to be in V-Trigger. If you're point blank, they can't jump away from it after the super flash. So there are some tricky setups you can do to land this. It does a grip of damage, as always, so it's pretty cool. So we're going to talk more about his V-Trigger in the next video, where we're going to cover his V-Trigger, his V-Skill, which is a pretty cool move, and his V-Reversal. So that's about it for this video, guys. As always, thank you very much for watching. I know there haven't been a lot of videos lately, but I appreciate your views, I appreciate your subscriptions. And if you want to kind of keep up with what's going on with me, what tournaments I'm going to, and when I'm having videos coming out, feel free to hit me with a follow on Twitter. The link is on the video and in the description. So again, guys, thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.